Are the old grimoires like the Goetia actually good for beginners who are trying to venture into demonolatry? Some will say yes, I definitely say no, so let's have a look at why. Hi, I'm Lee W. Johnson, and if you like my channel, if you like my content, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. There's also the join button if you'd like to support the channel. There's two levels at the moment. One, just general support for a small fee, and the second one is the Demonic Wealth Web. I'll link the video at the top here that you can get more information on the Demonic Wealth Web itself and what it is and what it involves. Alright, so I've seen it quite a bit, quite often in communities dealing with the left-hand path, Demonolatry, all of those communities revolving around that aspect. And the difficulty here is that in a lot of those communities, some people are demonolators, they have respect for the demons, others are ceremonial magicians who work the Goetia. But they use the traditional methods. They trap, bind, and threaten. So you have a mixed bunch here. However, when it comes to somebody who wants to get into demonolatry, and by this I mean worshipping the demons, or any aspect of this area, demonosophy, where you are working with the demons, whatever you want to define it as long as there's a respect for the demons. A lot of people will say that the Goetia and other grimoires like the Grimorium Verum, for instance, are essential beginners books. I have to strongly, very strongly disagree with that. When you read the Goetia, I'm going to stick with the Goetia because it's the most popular. But as I say, this goes for any of the old grimoires. But when you read something like the Goetia, it is written from the perspective of a Christian mage. And in that aspect, you have all of the rituals where you are trapping the spirit, you are binding the spirit, you are threatening the spirit. And we all know how that turns out. If somebody traps you, binds you, and threatens you, and you get loose, what are you going to do to them? Ask yourself that question. So the same goes with the spirits, and I've made a few videos in the past about this. If you don't respect the spirits, they're not going to respect you. If you respect them, you get the respect back. It's really as simple as that. But in the Goetia and in all the grimoires, there is this aspect of trapping, binding, threatening, the whole toot. And that's not how a beginner should approach demonolatry. That's definitely not. It's actually completely opposite and completely adverse to what we actually expect and what we do within demonolatry. So to suggest that those are absolutely essential beginners books is absolutely, completely and utterly ridiculous in my opinion. Because all that's going to do is teach a beginner how to disrespect the spirits, disrespect the demons. And that's not going to get you anywhere, because what's going to happen is a beginner is going to come along, read those books, study those books, start working with those books, and then all of a sudden they're going to find out from demonolators themselves and from books written by demonolators that the approach is completely different. Now they've been trained in one aspect, now they're all of a sudden got to completely change their point of view, completely change what they're doing, completely change their entire mindset. And there's just no point to it. So my suggestion is seek out books and information by demonolators like this channel. Check out S. Connolly, and there's also Satan's Sons, who are very good. There are some good sources out there, and you just got to find them. If you're not sure, just ask. Ask somebody who you can trust. If you come across a source, is this source actually reliable or is it not? And they'll let you know. But seek out the good sources of demonolators themselves. Try and avoid the ceremonial magicians who are taking the Goetia for face value. They are basically Christian mages. A lot of them don't want to admit it, but they are, because they work in Christian magic. And they're working against the demons. They are disrespecting the demons, and they get a completely different outcome to what a demonolator would. So seek out the demonolators. Try and stay away from the ceremonial magicians who are working that method, and learn. First learn how to actually work with the demons, how to give them offerings, how to do ascension work where you can actually talk with them, how to interact with them, how to actually have conversations with them, find out their natures, find out about the different demons from these demonolators. Then, when you have that under your belt, then you can go and check out the old grimoires and start studying them, because then you understand which are the aspects which should not be brought into the practice. And then you can use those as a directory almost of the different demons. There's a lot more than them, a lot more than what's actually mentioned in the old grimoires, but you know, it's a good place to sort of get a directory. If you actually go to the Satan and Sons site, demonsanddemonolatry.org, if I'm remembering that correctly, that's actually a great site to actually go and get information. They have kind of a directory of all the Goetia spirits and some more, and wherever they have specifically worked with one of the demons, they actually give their entire perspective, their experience and everything else. Where they haven't, they give as much information from different sources that they can. So they'll give the account from the Goetia, from the Tickaboo, from Michael Ford, and then usually from S. Connolly. So you can get a good idea of what that demon actually is involved with and the aspects that they actually work with. Now another thing is, this could actually get quite in depth, and I don't want to get too in depth in this video today. The appearances of the demons. You're going to read accounts from the Goetia, etc., that the demons appear as such and such. 3 heads, dragon body, riding on a camel, whatever it is. You're going to find those accounts. You're also going to find other people who have worked with the demons who have stated that they actually appear a different way to what's written in the Goetia or the grimoires. It's better to approach the demons completely blank, completely open, as if you've never read any of that information before. If you go in and want to speak to one of the demons with the idea, with the intention that they are going to look a specific way, they are going to look that way. The problem here is, and this is where it can get a bit deeper, is in order to get the power of the energy of the demon, you have to make that demon into nothing. And there's a whole mystery behind this, and not something I can really talk about right now. It's going to get, as I say, it's a very involved topic, but think about it. Just take it away and think about it, give it some thought, meditate on it. In order to get the power from something, it must be nothing. True power is nothing. There you go. What does that mean? A lot of things. Like a load of things. To put it very basically, one of the best ways to actually look at it is from the perspective of from Castaneda's perspective, from the Toltec warrior path. If we consider 2 aspects, there's the tonal, which is like an island, and then there's the Nahual, which is everything around it, the sea, which is endless. The tonal is everything that we have defined, identified, brought into our reality, and given it a body of some kind. That body could be a physical body, it could be an idea, it could be anything which has identified it, has given it definition. Beyond that is the Nahual, which is everything which is undefined. There are two aspects of the Nahual, but keep trying to keep this simple. So the Nahual is everything which is undefined. Okay. Now, as soon as you take something from the Nahual and you give it definition, you define it in some way, it becomes part of the tonal. The Nahual is the immense power. So in order for something to, or in order for you to give something power, it needs to become nothing. So if you take something from the tonal and you change it into nothing, it goes back into the Nahual, into the immense power. Okay. You can look at this from a Kabbalistic perspective, of taking something which is defined, which is within the tree, and making it into nothing, bring it into the nil, into the omnil, which then sends it beyond the tree into Ein Sof, etc., etc., etc. These are very, 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 very simplified explanations, and they do require a lot of thought. But what I'm trying to say is, if you have a spirit that you are interacting with and you give it a body, you define it, you give it identity, etc., etc., it actually takes some of the power away from it, because you brought it into your reality, into your defined space, into your tonal. So you have to give it its power back, to gain the most out of it. It has to become nothing, and that's not an easy thing to do. But as I say, it's not really something that's easy to explain, or even probably not even, I'm not even able to explain it in words. But it's, take that away. True power is nothing. Take that and go meditate on it and see what comes up. Alright, so let me not confuse you anymore. But, as I said, just any defined identification of a spirit is a body of energy, that's all it is. We give it a body, a personality. And if you are terrified when you go into a ritual, you're probably going to see something which is terrifying, because you're actually creating that body and creating that image. If you go into the ritual relaxed, you'll probably have a pleasant experience and a pleasant interaction with a nice looking demon. So just remember, the spirits are just balls of energy. That's all they really are. We give them definition. They can change their appearance to help us to try and interact with us, because we find it easier to interact on that basis. But in order to give it back its true power, it has to become nothing. That's what I'm saying. Alright. Now I've confused everybody. I'm going to go. Have a good week, everybody. Hope you have a great one. Cheers.